Okay, welcome back to Chat with a Hat, episode 8. G'day, Rowan. I'm Dave. You are?
Rowan, how's it going, mate? Good to
Mate, I'm
be
good.
back again.
Yes. Yes. Well, it seems like it's been so long. We've had no racing forever. And we had racing down at PI this weekend. So Speed Series was on, and that's basically the only thing we've had for the last few weeks until we hit Tassie this weekend down in the Apple Isle. So
Yeah, it's been yeah. Well, what's that series again that's racing this weekend? Supercars, I think they
yeah,
are.
something
But
like that. I'm not quite
yeah, not
sure. It's been so
not
long,
not
I
sure, mate.
forgot.
Yeah, it's been a while, so we'll get there eventually. I'm sure I'll remember they're on the weekend when someone posts something online. But it's been a bit quiet, hasn't it? So
Yeah, that'd be probably me because I'm actually heading down Saturday morning. So very excited just to see our boys just continue their domination with Erebus and Coca-Cola Erebus. Um, leading the championship, leading the teams and the drivers championship with good old BK up the front. So
yeah, it's been good. So. But yeah, at least we had a little bit of racing on this weekend down at Phillip Island, which you also had the chance to get to, and that spectacular weekend that they put on, not just racing wise, but weather wise down there at Phillip Island, which is a rarity.
oh, we don't get many good days down there. Like it can turn nasty pretty quick. You're either blistering from the face of the sun or you're freezing from Antarctica and it's coming in sideways. But this weekend was spectacular. 17 degrees, just the slightest hint of a breeze, and perfect conditions for running racing down at Phillip Island this weekend. So we should have more of it.
Yeah,
Supercars, I'm talking to
glorious.
you. But let's
Yeah,
get into it then. Let's
exactly.
let's talk about what happened down there because there was a magnificent class of categories this weekend. It was absolutely spectacular. We had TCRs, TCM, oh sorry, Trans-Ams, GTs were there. The old Kumo cars were there, all the old bangers,
Yeah, the old supercars. Yeah, that's
supercars there. They had, I think, 8 of those guys zooming around, 8 or 9.
yeah. Had the same amount of S5000 cars, which is a bit dull again, but well, they sound nice, they look nice, but they don't race too nice.
Nah, it's unfortunate too because it's got a lot of potential that category to really turn it into something spectacular. But at the moment, she's struggling. It's not enough cars. There's not enough. Actually, there's no overtaking.
Yeah.
Um, this weekend they tried the push to pass button for the first time, and they gave all the drivers, I think it was about 45 seconds worth of engine
I thought they
boost.
actually, no, they had that at Tassie as well.
I'm not sure they used it.
Yeah, they did. They had it down at Tassie, I believe, but that was the first weekend, or might have been the second weekend that actually used it. But they definitely had it down there. But
They
once
did a
again, it
test.
done
They
nothing. So
did a test with it last year. I remember did a test,
yeah.
and
No, the Tassie was the first weekend they actually brought it out, but it just done nothing there. As you said earlier, they um the driver in front hits it, and then the driver behind hits it, and they're just their speeds you know
are
are the
relatively the
same as each
same.
other. Yeah, exactly, and
Because one's
and it's
using
not
it to
doing much.
attack
So
and one's using it to defend. And
and then unfortunately as well, you've got one superstar driver there in Joey Mawson who just absolutely is dominating the competition, and then you've got your Jimmy Goldings and your Cooper Websters who doing a good job, but they just don't really have the speed and the skill of handling that car like Joey Mawson does. So bit of a shame.
I think there's actually a push for him to get a co-drive seat.
Well, wouldn't be surprised. He's got some skill. He can handle it. He can handle a V8. So
I know Barry
and
Rogers is Barry Rogers came out on an interview with Bogues talking about that exact thing,
yeah,
saying that it seems that the S5000 drivers are getting blocked by supercars because they don't accrue super license points.
yeah, which is bullshit. Those cars are takes a lot of skill to handle one of those cars. And if you can thrash one of them around a track, they're the fastest cars in Australia. They're literally the fastest racing cars in Australia at the moment. If you can handle one of them around a track, you can handle a supercar. So they might have there's a lot more weight in a supercar, obviously, but I don't see why you can't accustom yourself to that and learn to drive it. If you can thrash one of those things around with a 800 horsepower engine and 800 kilos in it, then you can drive a supercar as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, apparently, well, with the super license system, they still require them to do 6 rounds of a Super Twos.
It's just ridiculous. Need to do more.
I mean,
But
other categories do still accrue super license points. The TCRs, Bailey Sweeney will finish in the top 5 and he'll get super license points. And if he
yeah,
finishes the season in the top 5, he will have accrued enough super license points because you get like 3 points for finishing in the top 5 and blah, blah, blah. Very small, minor level. But over a couple of years, you end up accruing enough to be eligible to be racing as a co-driver.
yeah.
But yeah, Mawson's
Ne-
been cleaning up and he's not going to be,
Need to do more though.
unless they use their discretion, of course, which they can, but I don't
No.
think we'll look at the Nathan Hearn situation
Yeah. Well,
years
look,
ago.
I was, I had a bit of a, to and fro with some people online about it the other day, and can't remember his name. I do apologize, but he mentioned, that they need to do more to attract young drivers to the sport, and he actually threw something like, potentially um, having some sort of agreement with an overseas series like the Formula Threes or the Formula Fours or Indy Lights or something like that, where the winner of the series actually gets a test day over in the States or in Europe in one of the open wheel series over there as an incentive to get the young guys actually in and racing in the category. And I thought that was a bloody brilliant idea. Don't know about the logistics of it, but in theory, it sounds like a bloody brilliant idea.
Yeah, exactly. And um, we need to, I don't know, it's not up to us. I mean, we're just going to be robbed of young talent that can't afford to pay their way through the whole Super 2, Super 3s program.
Mm,
And then, which is where they want to end up. Cost of racing is pretty prohibitive. So they go race parallel categories where they can get in and then excel at those categories, but aren't
yeah,
given the recognition for their ability and not even getting the look in to be eligible for a co-drive. So we're going to lose a whole swathe of young drivers who are going to think supercars isn't possible anymore. I'm going to continue on my career somewhere else, whether that be Trans-Am or TCR or overseas, hitting an open wheel or whatever they can do. Other people are going to give them credit for their ability.
yeah, exactly. So just another thing that supercars needs to look into, I guess.
I think so. Well, for the future of the sport. I mean,
Yeah,
these are legitimately the kids that are coming through now where we want to see the stars of the future. And we are
yeah,
watching them now, but they can't get a go because of
yeah,
some guys got a rule. So
yeah. Yeah, well, them's the breaks, isn't it?
it
So,
is the breaks. So
but
moving on,
yeah, look,
TCR, how good was that?
TCR was pretty good on the weekend. I think there was some pretty entertaining racing. Had a new winner again in Michael Clemente. Got his first win in the first weekend out for the new Cupra. So that was albeit a reverse grid race, but it's good to see a new face on the podium again. And yeah, that was probably one of the highlights of the weekend. Just seeing him get up there, and the as you said, the Clementi fan squad, all 5,000 of them that come to
Oh,
every
there's a
race
million of
weekend.
them.
So
There's more Clementi fans than there are Browns.
that's saying a lot.
That's there's a few of the Browns and the Nassers and the yeah, there's a million of them. And yeah,
So yeah, but that was a good weekend, and had some exciting exciting action there. Not a lot of passing going on, which is surprising because it's a pretty good track, especially down that long straight and into turn one. You'd think they'd see a little bit more, but they're so close in parity with each other in the TCRs that just once you get stuck in a pack, you kind of at a track like Phillip Island anyway, where it is a very curvy track, it's not easy to pass on, but there was still some good racing, and you had your Jordan Coxes providing us some fantastic entertainment. He thought he was in a sprint car for a few seconds there at turn 13, but
Oh,
That was
that was huge. That was mint.
that was awesome. So
Matty
as you
White
said,
lost his mind.
as you said, when you first saw it on the television, because I was the same. I was just sitting at home watching on TV. And when you first saw it, it put up the drivers
The graphic.
the graphics, the driver's graphic kind of covered it up. So as you said, Matty White's losing his absolute mind, and I'm thinking, wasn't that good? Like, he got a little bit sideways, and then they show you the replay without the graphic on there, and you realize that he's on about a 45, 50-degree angle coming out of that coming out of that corner,
Yeah.
just completely sideways, full locked up, and he's just going for it, and just absolutely just plants a foot and drives straight out of it. He didn't even lose any speed. He still took off down the straight. So
Nah, it looked pretty impressive. It was full Scandinavian drift.
that was awesome. So, the joys of a front wheel drive car, you can have a lose like that. If you lose it like that in a supercar, you're probably going around and doing a few spins. But in
Yes.
a front wheel drive Peugeot, you just
Ramp
plant
it.
the foot and get
Foot.
the power into those front wheels, and off you go. That was
Yes, there was a few other interesting things there for the TCRs. This year we've only got 13/14 cars. There was only 13 there this weekend. And last year we had 25. So half the field have gone out of
it's a
TCR.
disappointment. So something's going on. Well, you heard a little bit more about that, but yeah, it's never good with a growing category like that to see the grid almost half, like 26. Well, 26 cars. There was 26 last year. There was 13 at Phillip Island. So that's literally half a grid from what they had at most races last year. That's it's not good. There's obviously some sort of problem, which I believe you might have heard a little bit more about. But
Yes.
it just doesn't look good for the category when they're trying to grow.
There was a meeting held on the Saturday night between the teams and the stakeholders like Stan and ARG, and the concern for the teams was that the funding, the stand money, basically the broadcast money, isn't filtering down to the teams to as well as being used to promote the sport. So the coverage as well is the big issue. I think the big sticking point was, well, gripe was the lack of promotion and
Mm.
TV coverage for the category and for the weekend itself. Because Friday, zero coverage. Saturday, I saw it advertised as a Stan and Gem coverage was starting at 11:30, but it actually started at
Mm.
2 p.m. And so you get your 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. slot on the Saturday. And then Sunday, I don't know exactly when they started the coverage because it was still advertised at 11:30 till 5, but I don't know if it actually kicked off at 11:30 on Sunday because I was actually at the track. I wasn't watching on telly.
I think it did on Sunday kick off at 11:30. But yeah, I turned it on at about I don't know 12:30, 1 o'clock on Saturday, and I thought I've missed half of it. It hadn't even started yet. So
Yeah, so
that's it.
that's one of the big issues that the teams have at the moment, and I think that might be why half the field have shot through.
That's a problem. Well, and the marketing for it as well. They're just not marketing. Like if it wasn't
No one knows it's on.
yeah, if it wasn't for our good buddy David Hodges and his TCR fan page on Facebook, then I wouldn't have a clue that the weekends are on. So I've joined all there. I'm on their Facebook pages. I'm everywhere like that, but they're just not promoting it. They're not marketing it. So you
Yeah.
know, nobody knows it's on. They might need to hire David Hodges and get him in there as their marketing manager because that he's onto it. He's onto it in a heartbeat. A week before the events, 2 weeks before the events, posting all the times, doing everything like that, letting everyone know what's going on. But if it wasn't for that, and that's just just a race car fan online doing his bit to actually let people know what's going on. But
Hmm.
the promoters of the sport need to do more.
Yeah, so that's what the meeting was about. I caught up with some parties on the Sunday to ask them the results of the meeting, like how it went,
Yeah.
what was the outcome, and unfortunately, it kind of seems like there wasn't really any outcome reached. People said their words, they had their say. I don't think there's a great deal of activity. They weren't confident after the meeting that anything was going to particularly change. So we'll stay tuned and we'll keep an eye on that. But they've got to
It's
they
it's not
yeah,
good.
there's got to be a little bit of extra coming through to make it all visible.
Well,
Yeah, so look, that's enough of that. The guys will sort that all out for sure. But the exciting part was the Hyundais again, Team Bailey and Team Josh, uh, cleaned up. They were fast. They were legit. Josh Buchan, 2 out of 3 wins. That Hyundai i30 sedan, because it's not an Elantra. From the front, 100%. No one could catch him. He was 3 seconds,
No,
3.5 seconds up the field. Just drove away from the field.
it's way too good. Yeah, just soon as he got some clean air, that was it. And he couldn't really pass. But once again, that's just due to the cars all being so close to each other. But if he was out in front, he could pull away. That's for sure. So
Yeah, the reverse top 10, and you got caught in traffic. He just legit
yeah,
got caught and got bogged in. Um, Bailey
but
Sweeney had a couple of great results. He went into the championship leading the points after Tassie because he Audis are made of porridge, and they
well, I think he finished top five in every single race. So in all three races. So that was, and he
fourth,
he actually
fourth.
yeah, yeah. So he said, he's and he said, he's got the championship in mind when it comes to, pushing for it. He said he probably could have pushed a little bit harder, but he did say on the telecast he's got the I think it was Bailey said in the championship that he's got the championship in mind when it comes to
100%.
actually pushing for it. So he just wanted to maintain that championship lead, and all he needed to do was keep some solid positions, which he done all weekend. So,
Well,
and I
Tony D
believe he
was
said he had
hunting
some
him down.
ballast in there, didn't he?
He had 30 kilos.
Yeah,
Josh had none because they're a different car. He had 30 kilos weight balance of performance, BOP, they call it.
yeah,
And he also managed to get a drop of 10 mil on his ride height to 80 mil, which
yeah,
lowers your center of gravity again and makes you more competitive. But the 30 kilos was a success penalty from Tassie because that's the way it kind of works. If you win, you get penalized with weight. And to try to balance out the field to make more competitive racing. So everyone's carrying weight all over the place. Like some guys have got 30, some guys have got 40. There's a or 20 or 10 or 0. There's an international, they do that once a year when they sort of homologate all the models, all the makes of cars. So there's a global baseline for all these cars. And then
yeah,
there's a success penalty that's applied during the year. So they do that once a year for the the make of car. Last year they actually had to readdress it mid-season, so there was a second uh, adjustment to how much, say, a Peugeot to a Honda versus an Audi versus a Hyundai is going to carry. So yeah,
yeah,
he was running around with 30 kilos, and Josh's car. I looked into the right-hand side. There was not even a single plate bolted to the floor.
yeah,
Actually, I caught up with Josh down in the garages. Actually, caught up with Bailey and Josh. Both of them hung out in the Hyundai garage all weekend because they're just magnificent humans and they tolerate me. So had a great chat with Josh. Actually, gave him some high fives over that Bathurst 6-hour broadcast that he's jumped into the
yeah,
commentary box with. And you would have seen on the telecast he jumped up and down all weekend as well
yeah.
on
He
the
was in there
mic.
for the support categories, which was good.
Yeah.
So,
He's loving it. He's absolutely dead set loving the dual role.
oh
He's
yeah.
he's really enjoying it. He really is, and he's very good at it. He's extraordinarily good for a
Well, it is.
first
It's and
for a
it's and
first
it's
time.
not affecting his racing at all, obviously, given the
No,
given the
no,
dual wins.
this is
So
his downtime between
that's
sessions.
it.
He just jumps up and
Just that's it. Goes and chills out in the commentary box for a little bit, just forgets about the racing, clears his head, and comes back out and smashes out another race win. So
even gave him a little Motorsport Australia puffer jacket, so he looked
yeah,
like all the stand crew.
he's loving it. But that was great. But I think another one of the talking points was the lack of well, not lack of speed. That it's got plenty of speed, but the lack of its ability to stay in one piece for the Audi of poor Willie Brown.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
So
had 3 different issues. Like Friday, electrical problems, couldn't even turn the thing on. Um, Saturday, did a steering arm at Casey, or I think it's Miller Corner now. Snapped a steering arm. So he's turning right, the car's going left. Like that's kind of awkward.
Yeah, well, you saw it on the telecast. Like he just comes into the corner and all of a sudden he just kind of veers off the track and he just kind of went straight ahead. And I thought, oh,
Yeah.
you know, something's definitely wrong there. As he said on the telecast as well, like he was concerned he was going to go plowing into someone because he just lost all steering. It just
Well, he had
disappeared.
a
So
same as Tassie, mate. You know, when they snap the drive shafts, the
yeah,
splines off the drive shafts, you got a one-wheel drive, but at least your car, yeah, steering arms were still
yeah.
attached. It was just he had no drive.
But his wheels
Um,
were going in different directions
this
this
time,
time.
this
So
time
yeah,
he's all cockeyed. One wheel's
yeah.
that way, one wheel's that way, and
Oh, that was shocking. So then they fix that and get that back up and running, and then come Sunday, he decides that then I think it was the left rear suspension decided it was just going to give way on the car, and that's put him out as well. So poor Swill goes from battling for the championship last year and only just losing it to being I think 190 points off the championship lead now and
yeah,
down in last place for the championship. So
he's not going to end up at the world final at the moment. This category is so close for points. You
oh,
just can't even. I don't know. I haven't done the maths. Even if you won every race from now on, he'd have to wait for everybody else to fail in front of him and be a
well,
one car
yeah,
field just to get enough points with no one scoring any points for him to
yeah,
catch
you
up and
need
get into
several
that top,
DNFs.
like the world rankings, like the top 50. Got to get
Yeah,
in the top 50. So, I
no, he's unfortunately done with that one. So and
mean, Bailey's
unfortunately
only
due to
sitting
no
at
fault of his
40.
own. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
leading out championship, and Bailey's only sitting in the top four. Like he's at 40th out of the top
yeah.
50. And the
It's
top
just
15 are already through. Like they get guaranteed automatic entry into that world final,
yeah, and it's
which
just
who knows when
just a
that's going
shame.
to be or where.
Yeah, nobody knows yet. It's just a shame for Will though. But another car that's probably doing awesome things is this brand spanking new Cooper of Michael Clementi's. So one race weekend, one win in the bag, and that thing not only looks like an absolute rocket and looks amazing, but it apparently goes pretty well too. So
Oh, straight out of the truck. That thing's a
yeah,
weapon. Absolute weapon. And this is Clementi's first drive with it. So he's getting his head around the setup and all of that jazz. So he managed to defend and fight. Well, he was pushing for the win in the standard setup, like the standard, not reverse grid, but then the
yeah,
reverse
yeah,
grid, he took advantage of that and was able to defend and get his um, win.
yeah,
And I was down at the podium at that in the middle of the 9 million Clementi Carl Cox hoodie wearing clan. It's a
yeah.
cult. Let's call it for what it is. It's a friggin' cult.
The Clementi cult.
so,
Yeah.
so they've done the podium and that's all sweet. And Josh has had his win in Clement. This is the last race on Sunday, right? Not
Yeah.
the reverse 10 when he won, but the last he got second in the
Yeah. Got second for the round. Yeah.
last race. So they've done the champers and stuff. The boys have all, clinked and cheered and sprayed. Yeah, then he just came charging at us all, and we just got covered. And I just found myself
Nice.
in the wrong place at the right time. And yeah, I was still trying to get the champagne smell out of the jacket. So
Oh, love it. Nothing
yeah.
beats a sticky champagne jacket.
It is sticky. It's
Oh
horrible.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's
horrible
not
getting
nice.
sprayed with champagne. It's all fun and shits and giggles at the time, but afterwards you're going, yeah, it's a it's not as fun as you think. So
No, no. So
he did put that
and what
massive move on to win that race though on Coxie at Southern Loop.
he did. That was awesome. So
Pushed him up the inside.
Coxie wasn't too pleased with it either. I think that was just brilliant racing. That's what we want to see as racing fans. You want to see things like that. So he just, he saw a gap. Cox gave him a little bit too much room, and he saw that gap and he went for it.
A
So
little bit. He was
yeah,
nowhere near the apex.
no.
He left that door wide open.
You saw him in the telecast. Cox is throwing his hand up and cracking the shits about it. And I went, mate,
Yeah, because there was a little bit
you
of a
gave him the
nudge on the
gap.
way
So
through. That
ah,
you know what that reminded me of? Scott McLaughlin every single
yeah,
time
yeah,
at PI down on the inside. Even when the guys are hugging
yeah,
the actual ripple strip, Scott's on the
yeah,
inside of the ripple strip,
yeah.
still pushing his way through and making that
And
exact same move because it's kind of a double apex down on that because
it
it's
is,
such a
yeah,
long loop.
yeah,
You have your first one, then you just sort of drift in the middle, then you come back again. Because if you hug it too tight, you go slow. So you got to
Yeah.
sort of open the steering a little bit. And Clementi
But
just went, there's my gap.
you drift, yeah, exactly. You drift too far out, someone's going to take advantage of it. Like that's
Tap,
what
tap,
racing car drivers
and I'm
do.
through.
So yeah,
100%. Side,
and
but it
that's
wasn't tap from the rear, it was tap from the side.
tap from the side, exactly. And that's, as race fans, you don't want to see people nudge, bumping people up the rear and spinning them out or anything. But you want to see a bit of rubbing. Rubbing's racing, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. And
us
mate,
as
Jordan Cox has done so much more to so many people in the last few years. Like he's
oh yeah,
legit. Check yourself, sir.
well, yeah, you reap what you sow, don't you? So it's you got to give what you get, and he did. And at the end of the day, well, it's still second place, and Clementi deserved that win, I reckon. So
Absolutely.
good on
Absolutely.
them. And what was the other one? I think you got a little bit to say about this. The new Lincoln Co car. You actually know a
Yeah,
little
I
bit more
do.
about it now. So
Yeah, I do. I went down to the pits. I was having a wander as I do. I went down to Tommy Oliphant's pit with Ash Seaward Racing, and I just want to take a photo of the car. That's all I was after. Can I have a? And I asked one of the engineers, "Do you mind if I come in the garage?" Even though at Speed Series all the garages are open, legitimately, if you're rude, you can walk in without asking. But I always ask because I'm not an idiot. I'm not rude. So I asked the bloke, who I later knew as Mick, "Do you mind if I come in and have a photo of the car?" And he took me in for a 15-minute pit tour and explained the entire car to me, exactly what it is, how it is, and everything else. We had a fantastic chat. So I learned it's all Volvo running gear. It's a partnership. It's a Chinese car partnership with Volvo. They've made an absolute weapon of a car, dominating in Europe. This make is
mm,
dominating TCR world at the moment. And Tom Oliphant's got, well, Ash Seaward's got the first one. And there's about 1,000 different adjustment points on this thing, fully billeted rear suspension arms and everything. The wheels were off. As I was taking a photo and a little bit of video, I said, "Oh, do you mind? Sorry, you got your suspension showing, because the supercars are so protected about you can't take a photo with the setup. Like in case somebody else is looking, then they can work out what you got." And he looked at me, and then I looked at him, and then we both laughed because he's got the only car. Like, who cares? Like, there's not another one in the lane. It doesn't matter. He
bring it
goes,
on,
"No,
yeah.
mate, you're good. 100%. It's all fine." Um, so I took my pickies and I had a chat with Mick for a while, and they had Europe on the phone. So they're sending their setup and their balances, and because this is the first time they've raced it, right? Brand new. So they've got the customer support from Europe, from Lincoln Co. Europe, on the mobile, and they're sending them data and they're getting like assistance back about the setup. They're going, "Yep, you're on the right track here," or "We would just do this or this." Like the way we would set the car up is this, and this. So they had full, amazing customer support from Lincoln Co. because this is the first car
Yeah.
that's actually in here. I didn't get a good look at the Cupra, unfortunately, down at Clementi because I couldn't get past the entire tribe of Clementi's. But it's out of the car. Tom didn't get the best out of it this weekend. He cut a tire on the first race when it was why he came in. He was dropping. He started well. He qualified well, but he just couldn't get a handle on it for the rest of the weekend. But
Mm.
this thing is an absolute weapon. So stick close because Tommy knows how to race, being a British touring car champion,
Oh
and
yeah,
he's
well he's
like
he's got some pedigree, yeah.
he's not a rookie. Put it that way. He's not his first time out. This guy knows
That's
how
it.
to get 2 liter cars zooming around. So
He does indeed, and I reckon he'll definitely bring that car to the front sooner
at
rather than
Winton,
later, I
I
reckon.
expect a lot more from these guys out of Winton. I
Yeah.
think it will suit the car too.
And a completely different race circuit at Winton. So, it'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see how they go. Yeah.
And the funny thing was when Tony D'Alberto was setting it up, they were boasting about how much camber caster they could have on their car because it's going so well. They put like 6 degrees on. Guess who cut a tire?
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh, this
Maybe
car's
put a
so
little
good.
bit
Oh,
too much on it.
we can just go so aggressive, so aggressive. Yeah, no, you can't.
No, no.
Cut a tire, done. I mean, yeah, sure,
Well,
they were fast. They were qualifying up the front and they were racing up the front, but you just can't run that aggressive.
no, no. It'll bite you eventually. So that was I don't know. We got much more for the TCRs. I don't know if there's
No,
too
not
much more
really.
to
Apart
go
from
on
the
about the
grid walks are
TCR. So
awesome. I love having grid walks down there. It's a
yeah, they're
free for
great.
all.
Yeah,
Not like supercars where you need to sell your first child to be a sponsor and know somebody to beg and borrow and hopefully get a grid walk. Down here with
yeah,
the speed series, it's just a free for all. Anybody who wants to come out and have a look, welcome. You're all
yeah,
welcome onto the circuit. So that's
yeah. That
actually
was
the first
awesome.
time I got to speak to Willie Brown because he was strapped into his car. He's locked in.
Couldn't
It
run
was
away
actually
from you
down the
this time.
back. It was a P13 because of the days before error, like the not the error, the failure.
Yeah,
So I went up and had a chat with Willie and met our favourite medicos, Nat and Karen, who run medical at all these tracks. So we had a quick chat and a quick photo down the back end of the grid. And other than that, I think that's it for TCRs. Bailey Sweeney's still got the lead. Josh Buchan is fast on his heels.
yeah. Well, he's up to fourth now after a horrid Tassie. So
Yeah, he
he's
just didn't get the turbo sorted out right down in Tassie because that was a brand new car for them too. That was their first time
yeah,
running. Jordan Cox in the Peugeot's parked up 20 points ish behind Bales, and Aaron
yeah.
Cameron, who's doing double duty because he's doing S5000 and TCR. He's good.
He's good. Yeah, he's got some skill. So yeah, he's sitting second in the third in the championship. So and then Clemente got himself up to fifth now with that performance on the weekend as well. So that's not too bad for them and their brand new Cupra.
Yeah, but there's not many points. I mean, Bailey's clearly the leader because he had the free hit in
Yeah,
Tassie with
yeah.
no Audis racing against him. And again, as it turns out, got on a second a second free hit with no Audis.
Well, yeah, because Suda ran
Sooners
into
car
issues as
was
well,
just
didn't
made
he?
a
So
porridge
yeah,
too. Like they were both,
cactus. So,
yeah, they were both having failures. So they're
so,
literally parked well and
so
truly at the bottom of the standings, unfortunately for Audis. I'm not laughing and enjoying the fact. I don't want to see
no.
them in the game. I want to see them race because they're fast and they're legit. But whatever they've got going on at the moment,
No, the German engineering is not working. So
yeah, well, maybe you
they're
might have to get
running.
an Oscar. Might have to get like a Frenchman involved.
Yeah, I reckon.
The Peugeot
see
seem to be going okay.
see how they go. But other than the TCR, let's talk about what was actually super entertaining on that weekend. Let's get
Yes,
into the real
let's.
excitement. The
Because this was
Trans
where the fun was.
Ams. Oh
This
mate,
was proper balls out racing.
this is motorsport, is what it is. So this is what the fans are there to see. This was argy bargy, fast paced racing, passing cars, passing each other, cars just giving it to each other. Just it was awesome. It was just fantastic. And that battle between Nashi Morris and Moffat, and I think it was at race two or race three of the weekend. That was spectacular. Like the last
That
couple of
was the
laps of
last
that
race
race.
for them
Oh
on
yeah,
Sunday. Yeah.
that was awesome. So Nash Morris actually birthday boy as well. So happy 20th
Yeah, happy
birthday, Nash.
20th.
And yeah, what a way to celebrate. So two wins, the round victory, and one of the greatest battles we've seen in Aussie motorsport for a while, I reckon, over those last couple of laps. That was spectacular.
It
So
reminded me of the early days when V8 supercars were just branded V8 supercars when Tony
yeah,
Cockrell was running the joint,
yeah,
especially at Phillip Island, like with the Kellys and Lowndes and Scaife
yeah,
and all the boys. It reminded me of the old school Rubbins racing, punch, punch,
yeah,
punch, push, 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 defend, fight, bash, crash,
yeah.
just
Just go
proper
for it.
big, dirty 7 litre frigging
Yeah,
muscle car V8s with huge grippy tires that slide left, right, and center. And
yeah. They're just going for it, and like as you said, I think it was last night when we were chatting, and you said, when and I thought the same when they got out of the car, I thought one of them was going to have a go at the other one for bashing into each other so much, and they get out of the car and they're bloody hugging each other and having a bromance in the pits afterwards, saying
yeah,
how bloody
absolutely.
good was that? How bloody
Yeah,
good
yeah,
was that? So yeah,
100%. When the boys pulled their cars in after that
yeah,
race, that last race, where the front left side of Moffat's car doesn't exist anymore because all
was
that
missing.
fiberglass has been rubbed off and smashed off. And that's just, in the same's on the back end of Morris's car.
Yeah,
after they've done all the little photos in pit lane and stuff with the 1, 2, 3 down near the exit, I was literally standing there, so I'm, high fiving Nash, just bumping him, just going, great race. That was mental. And Moffat's walked up behind him as well, and just as they were walking that, and we were walking away together, it's just gone, how much fun was that? That was absolutely so much. And Nash has gone, hell yes, it was. Like those
Yeah,
two loved the fact that they were racing. And guess what? Race control let them.
yeah. Not like bloody supercars where one little rub and you're going to get a black flag and being told to, stop doing that. You can't touch
Nash was
each other.
defending for his life. We thought his tires were
Yeah.
dead set, sort of going off at the end of that because he used them up a lot to defend.
Oh, yeah.
And Moffat was so close to pit maneuver him because he's hit him a dozen times and leaning on him too, not just like a tapping back off. He was pushing him and turning him. Nash was like driving through, getting pushed with the counter steer.
Oh, speaking of that, like Nash's driving over the weekend. Like I'll say it now. I've been a little bit critical sometimes of Nash and his racing, just thinking he doesn't have the prowess of his old man. But some of the moves and some of the things that he pulled off that weekend, like which was it, the move for third? I can't remember who it was.
You say, mate.
Oh,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the words you're about to say, I'm gonna let you finish this. What you're about to say was exactly what was being said up and down pit lane while we're all watching this shit live. And I'm
yeah.
standing there with teams going, all I could hear was bash, bash. Yep, he's driving just like his old man.
Yeah. Oh, mate, and he was, and that the move for third, like he came in. I can't remember which corner it was. I think it was turn
He
4 or
came in
turn 5.
hot
But
and just pushed.
how
He hit
I thought
everything
he
but the
was
safety
gone.
car pushing through.
I
It was
I
cold
thought, like,
trickle.
well, he just came through and he's coming into this corner, and I just seen him. He come flying up. I thought he's not stopping. He's not stopping this car. This car is going straight off the track into the gravel trap, and he just comes in and he just slides it and just perfectly round the corner. Hit there, like didn't get the apex obviously, but he's done well enough to just get that car straight down and just bring it round the corner. And just I thought, how the do you control that? Like, how did you manage to get in there that fast? I've never seen a car come into that corner. I think it was turn 5 that fast and actually make it through it and come out with the lead. So,
He was
oh, it
loose
was,
and aggressive all week. Now, this is, I
yeah,
think, now for people that maybe not watching him, just go check out the race. Just find
yeah,
that somewhere. Maybe YouTube, maybe not. But Stan definitely watch the replay. But
yeah.
this was a coming of age drive for Nash.
Oh, 100%.
The amount
And
of
into turn 1. Oh, man,
yeah,
him
when he
into
took
turn 1.
he's fighting the likes
Oh,
of Owen Kelly,
yeah,
Ben Grice, and James Moffat.
yeah.
Like these are the three most aggressive, murderous drivers on circuit, and he's up
He,
there kicking ass and taking names.
well, he put him to shame, and just the way he was driving that, like coming into turn 1. I've seen him come into turn 1 so many times, and he's coming through turn 1 sideways, like he's got that car actually sliding across the track. But he'd pull it up, he'd go just over the ripple strip, and he'd pull it up, and he'd just take off again. And I thought the control that he's got in that car, like he just had it on. It was just he knew exactly where he could take it, and he took it to its limit every single lap and just about every single corner. Like he was
Well, he
not,
needed to
yeah. And
because
oh
those
man,
those
it was
three
just
guys, especially those Ben
they'll eat
Grice,
you alive.
Owen Kelly, and James Moffat. Moffat's been a second faster than everybody all year. Like
Yeah,
last year and stuff. Like he's just taken to Trans-Am once he left TCR like a
yeah,
fish to water. It's he won the first one, but it's pretty hard to hit people when you're leading because
yeah.
usually he just drives through. He he's got a reputation that does precede him, and it's well earned too because he hits everything. He just drives
he
through blokes
he does, yeah,
like Gears does, right?
yeah.
He just wants to get angry and just push through.
But he just
Um,
well, he tried it on Nash and it didn't work this
yeah,
weekend.
yeah.
So
And he tried half a dozen times. He tried so many times. And Nash, when he was 2 years younger, when he was 17, like he might
yeah,
have just wilted.
yeah,
The kid's turned 20. And
yeah.
it must have, I don't know what they put in his birthday cake, but he just took I've got my big boy pants on now. So
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to give you jack. You have to earn it. You want to get past
Uh,
me, you got to go through me. And
he he definitely announced he's there in the competition for this championship, I reckon. So
yeah, massive raps for that. Although it was the most exciting and most entertaining racing I've seen for a long time. That's the way
it
I
was
like to
awesome.
see my racing done. Let's not
Yeah,
be so pernickety and sooky about contact and taps and stuff. Yeah, sure, a fair bump and run. If you're going to drive in the back end of someone and punt them off the track and then take that spot, I'm not cool with that.
no,
But when what we saw in Perth and what we saw here at PI, we should let that run. And race
that's just
control let
racing.
it the whole lot. They let the whole lot go. And the
Yeah,
same for TCR too. They let the whole lot like fly.
yeah, it's just racing. That's what we want to as fans. That's what you want to see. You don't want to be told, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't, you can't rub up against a car. You can't do those." That's racing. That happens. It's a contact sport. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, motorsport is a contact sport. So it's just you need to know where to make the contact so you
Yeah,
don't
just don't be dirty.
knock the other guy off. Yeah, exactly. That's it. So and supercars need to take a page out of the Speed Series book and get their race controllers to just let it go
Well, Beardo's
because
pretty quite fair. I don't have
he
a
has
problem
been.
with the
I'm not.
way that
I'm,
Beardo actually officiates.
yeah,
Um,
but
and even going back to the Perth thing, like Brady
yeah,
wasn't penalised. It was just a knock on the door saying you're getting
yeah,
close
he's
to the
given.
edge.
Yeah, he's given the black flag, but
I
the
still don't
warning.
agree with
But
the actual circumstance under which the flag was actually adjudicated because he was legitimately entitled to hold his
no, well, you're allowed
racing
to
license.
defend your
He's
line.
leading
So
a race for goodness sake.
yeah, if you're not allowed to defend your line, what's the point of going racing? So that's just one thing we need to address in supercars world is them letting the drivers actually go racing and if it does come to things and something happens, let them do what they do in NASCAR and punch it out on the weekend. So
Was it
I don't know if you saw it over the weekend, but who was it? It was
Chastain and
no, it was no, it wasn't Chastain. It was
the punch on in pit lane?
Gragson. No, Noah Gragson. And was it Chastain? No, it wasn't Chastain,
Yeah,
was
I
it?
thought it
Oh, it
was.
was Chastain. Yeah,
It's Chastain, and
yeah.
I didn't know the other
And
guy's name.
no Noah Gragson. So
Yeah,
it
punching
yeah,
on.
yeah, that's right. It was Chastain. Yeah, and and that was over nothing. That was a little slide. That was a bit of a slide up the track when he went there, and then Noah Gragson comes up to him, got a bit sad about it because he'd had a little rough up on the last lap, and it wasn't even for a major position. It was for like top 10 or something like that, and he comes up to him in pit lane and grabs Chastain by the scruff of the neck and starts ripping on his race suit. And you actually hear Chastain, I don't know if you've seen the audio or the video of it yet, but you actually hear Chastain say to him twice, "Stop, stop," as he's roughing him. And then the third time he grabs him after he said stop, that's when Chastain just boom, swings a right hook at him and collects him straight in the jaw. And that's when NASCAR obviously jumped in because they don't want it to get too crazy. But
Are
at
you
the end of the
kidding?
day,
They love
they
that crap.
well they they
That will
should
be
have
the.
let that go. And there was a lot of talk. I listened to a few of the NASCAR, just sports shows and stuff afterwards, and they were saying that the NASCAR stepped in a bit too early there. If they're, if that's going to happen, like none of the teams got involved, nobody else was involved. It was two drivers, and if they
Yeah,
want to go
security
at it,
jumped on them pretty quick.
yeah,
I saw it brewing.
yeah, let them go. Let Gregson take a swing back at him and let him go for it. So that's how it should be done. So bring back the biff, I say.
Oh, well, motorsport's not really a biff, but um, when it does happen, and this is a general thing about sports as well. We've got State of Origin kicking off next Wednesday, right?
Oh,
Over in
yes, we do.
Adelaide.
Go the Blues. Go the mighty
Go
Blues.
Queenslander. Queenslander!
No, go the Blues.
Queenslander.
Yeah,
So,
we've found something Dave and I won't agree on, guys.
oh
Ever.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely State of Origin.
Yeah, we're on. We're on. Fucking 10 in a row, bitch. So, so if you look
No
at the
comment.
way that they promote State of Origin, the NRL,
Yeah,
it's all the fights from the
yeah,
90s and the 2000s, right? It's all the
yeah,
old school dust ups and stuff. Like it's mate against mate, state against mate,
yeah.
it's state against state, which is perfect, right? But they take it out of the game. You can get done for like a shoulder charge. It's not even a shoulder charge these days. Like ones on the weekend that
It's a bit, yeah, it's a bit iffy. Some of the, they're taking a lot
if
of
you
the
punch, if you punch now, like, hey, look at the Cleary thing,
well,
right? So
yeah,
Cleary gets smacked with an open hand. You got slapped like the little girl he is, and then that's a penalty, right? Yes,
yeah,
penalty, and it's a striking
and
charge,
it's a send off. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's the old days. You had to be clenched fist and basically opening somebody else's skull up as you
Well,
were punching on.
pretty much. If you didn't knock them out, you were all right. So
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm not condoning by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the way that the game has moved on, right? The
yeah,
game's moved on to no fighting anymore. But what is the first thing the NRL do? All they want to do to promote State of Origin is show the old historic
show the
fights.
fights. Yeah, yeah, because that's what people want to see.
But we're not allowed to
They want
fight
to see the
anymore.
biffo. No, they want to see the biffo. They want to
They'll
show the
use it for
biffo, but they don't want.
marketing,
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do it.
but you're
Yeah,
not allowed to do it. So
no.
NASCAR will use this for marketing, but
Well, it's just
they will
when was it?
there will probably be a penalty applied post
Well,
race.
they did also use it way back when in supercars. When was it? Was it Tony Longhurst and who was it at Oran
Paul
Park
Morris.
many moons ago? It was Paul Morris? I thought
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
When yeah,
Punching
yeah,
in through the window.
getting him through the window. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
good old Tony Longhurst, one of the most placid, chill back, laid back, down to earth guys in the paddock. But he had a loser that day. He flipped out and just wanted to tear Morris's head off. So
Yeah, because he got taken
you
out.
know exactly, and they used that footage for years and
Yeah.
years and years. They used that footage to promote it.
Well,
So
it's the same as Scafie and
yeah,
Ingle.
and Ingle, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
at
they
Eastern
love to
Creek,
roll
yeah,
that out on a regular basis as he
yeah.
sort of deviates towards him. And they're both in the wrong in that situation, to be perfectly frank.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But
You
that
got
was that was a proper animosity between those
yeah.
two,
Oh, well, it
which
still is to this day. So that's a
I think
it's
I think they've both grown up and mellowed a lot since they were
it's
especially sharing a commentary bench.
well, I've heard there was it was relatively frosty. I think they were polite for politeness sake while they were in the commentary box. But
They're
I'll
not
be
having
perfectly
barbecue.
honest with you. That's one of the major reasons why Russell Ingall is no longer a commentator in
No, it
Supercars
wasn't.
anymore, because there's
No, it
he's
wasn't.
come out and said it. He's come out and said it. All but said it. Said the animosity between there's like Scapes just said I don't like him. Never have, never will. Scapes come out and said it. It was a couple of years back. There was an article
Yeah,
about
but
it.
that's fine. Escape
So
doesn't like him, never will. That wasn't the reason Russell got booted off the panel, though.
you don't reckon?
No, it's
You
because
honestly don't
It
reckon?
was because Craig Lowndes retired, and they wanted to keep Craig on the TV. So Craig
Uh,
took Ingle's slot. It wasn't Scafie didn't
they
say to Fox Sports, no, you got to get rid of this guy. They actually wanted him on there for that thing because that was a check and balance. That was the Ford guy on the panel with Scaife, right?
so why don't you keep him on then? That's
Because
what I
because
reckon.
because
So
because Craig Lowndes retired. And then they wanted to keep Craig on the TV because he's worth ratings because everyone loves Lounsey, right? So they ended
uh,
up having a three Holden panel commenting on
yeah, it's
supercars,
no good.
and Russell ended up was the one that got punted off. Russell
What they
didn't
should
even
have
want to do
done.
it. Russell thought that the whole concept was insane. The fact that he was being offered to come on to commentate with Mark, he goes, that's not going to work, right? Because we don't get on. And they went, that's why we want you on the panel. We
Yeah,
actually want this friction. And it was the best commentary team that they ever had.
it was great. I don't know why they changed it. What they should
Well,
have done was
because
pissed off
Craig
Scaife, to be honest
retired.
with you.
That's why
Yeah,
they
I
that's
know, but that's not, the commentary team was Scaife's terrible. I don't, Lowndesy's not too bad, but he was no enforcer. So they are, and they should have pissed off Scaife in my eyes.
the
So
fact that Craig drove for Ford for a couple of years doesn't count.
no, it doesn't. So it's still an all hold. Well, they've got Larko. He's the Ford boy there. So, but he's not on the
Yeah, but
panel, is he?
Larkos
So
doesn't do top
yeah,
commentary with Jess. Like she's the
yeah,
anchor, right? So
yeah.
yeah, Larko does all the stuff for you and I that don't
And
build race engines and race cars. He tells us how they do.
let's let's be honest. Larko's the shining light in that supercars paddock. That's
Yeah,
for
and
sure. In
all
the
the fans
commentary
had to
paddock.
get him back
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
because when Seven
So
took over, when Seven took the broadcast rights, they sacked Rihanna and
Well, I was just about to say that
Larko.
they got rid of the two favorites on the grid. Rihanna and Larko were the
Yeah,
two fan favorites, and they go,
yeah.
see you
Uh,
later. So
and by the way, just reminding people, who's running Channel 7 Sport?
Cochrane?
No,
No,
Warburton.
oh, Warburton. That's right. I knew it was one of the old ones. Yeah, Warburton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
who used to be the CEO of Supercars?
yeah.
Warburton.
Warburton.
Who took
Yeah,
over from Cochrane and then
yeah. It
did the
was Warburton. Yeah,
Foxtel deal. He's the one that
yeah,
like turned this off, took it off free to air and then took
yeah.
the cheap and nasty hooker money
That's
and
right. Yeah,
um got given the golden goose. Now we got ourselves a frigging Indian miner.
yeah. Oh, it's
And
ridiculous
now he's
now.
running Channel 7 Sport and he has a personal issue with Larko. Doesn't like him personally.
Oh, really? Is that what it is? Ah, get
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's exactly what it was. 100%.
yeah.
Allegedly. I'm chucking that in case he
Allegedly.
comes at me. And no, legit. Yeah. He said, nah, well, we'll do the deal, but you're going to get rid of him and you're getting rid of her. And we're going to put our own people in.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work. So
Allegedly. And
allegedly.
I'm just chucking that in because I don't even
Yeah.
have lawyers and I don't want lawyers.
Well, at the end of the day, that worked. You know, pretty
Well,
badly in
people
their
power.
favor.
Look,
So
exactly. The fans protested. There was a petition. Larko was reinstated. He had no idea. His wife's going, "Do you see what's happening on Facebook?" He goes, I don't have Facebook. I don't
no
know."
idea yet. You got 25,000 people that have signed a petition in 2 days to get your
Yeah,
job back
to
for you. So
to get your job back. And the one that
yeah,
and because we pushed everybody had pushed so far for Larko, the one for Rihanna hadn't like had to wait. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it
yeah.
never took traction, but she got a job back anyway.
She got
So,
it back anyway. Yeah.
which is awesome.
No, 100%. Well, they're the two. They're
But
the
that's
two.
that's all that's all Warburton. That's all Tony Warburton. It's on his neck. Come on.
Yeah. Ah, there you go. All
And then they
right. I
say,
didn't.
by the way, Russ, we're going to chuck you on the commentary with Scafey and see how
Yeah.
that goes. Because they wanted the friction. They wanted those two guys to sit down across each other and disagree.
Burn each other.
Because it
Yeah.
makes good
Yeah.
TV. And it did.
Oh,
It made
100%.
amazing
Yeah.
TV. Then
It
they
did.
took Russ off and then put Craig Lowndes in, which we all love Lowndesy. Yes, we do. Did he add anything extra to the commentary team?
No,
Not
that's the thing. Like
particularly.
I love Lowndesy as a racing car driver, as a commentator. You know,
I love to hear the
he's not.
driver's perspective and his current
Yeah.
too, not like Scafey's
Yeah.
driver's
Like he's
perspective
not.
from years
Well, that's
ago.
it. He's got that, but he just he didn't have
But
the
it was all
nous,
Holden.
Yeah.
It was a fan circle club. Like there was no
And
Ford bloke there that was going to like hold anybody to account with their opinion
no,
because they have a
and
different opinion.
we're just lucky we got and Crompo. I love Crompo. Like Crompo's
Yeah,
commentary
but
has
he's
always
everyone's
been great over the
grandfather.
years. But yeah, exactly. So
Like he's the dad of supercars. He's the
yeah.
voice of moderation. He's not really
Oh yeah. No,
the day he
he's
swore is the day he still regrets. And they still get brought up, and he's embarrassed by that. He's
oh
legitimately,
yeah,
humanly embarrassed by that because
yeah.
he's not a guy that swears.
No,
Whereas you and
that's
I have to
fantastic.
moderate our words, every second word for this
It's
podcast.
it is harder than you guys know. Trust me. So it's probably one of the more difficult things of filming this podcast is Dave and I are not swearing anywhere near as much as we normally do.
Because I don't want to tick the explicit box when I post it.
Limits the audience. We don't want to do that. So we try and keep it to a bare minimum there.
It's all PG. It's all PG rated.
Exactly. But anyway, we're talking about supercars at the moment. So, that's
Yes.
probably the most talk that we've had about supercars over 4 weeks, because let's go into the other talking point. Where have they been? So, why are we waiting 4 weeks between rounds and people forgetting that they're on? So, I'm a diehard fan. Help. Well, I and Lisa, we help admin and moderate the Erebus Army Facebook page. So we're actually admin of a 10,000 strong Facebook Supercars fan page, and I'd completely forgotten that they were on this weekend until Lisa posted it on the group and said Supercars are on this weekend, and I went, oh, what are they? So
Yes. Well, this is that whole 12-round rule that somehow they've tried to spin, saying that the initial outlay of the Gen 3 car is so expensive that we don't want to race it too often because that's also expensive. Are you
Yeah.
insert, I can't say the word, kidding me? Like if you have a brand new toy
Yeah.
and you're going, I don't want to play with it too much in case I wear it out or people see it too often.
Yeah.
You got a brand new bike for Christmas and your parents spent a lot of money on your bike.
Oh,
Would
just
you
put
not
it
be
in the
riding
shed.
that bike every day instead of going, no,
Exactly.
I'm only going to ride it one day a month. I'm only going to ride it
Yeah.
one weekend a month because it's expensive.
Not a chance in hell. You're gonna take it out and you're gonna absolutely thrash the thing. So, it's just, and as well, you've got a brand new product, you're wanting to promote it to the world. Where is it? Where
Oh,
we aren't seeing it. So,
we'll get back to that. You just gave me a trigger. We'll get back to that. We'll talk about the Singapore thing later, next. But so the team's commission, and you've heard me rant about this commission. If you listen to the potty before, you've heard me rant about the commission a lot. They got too much power. They should have enough power, but they've got too much. They're the ones that decide that there's 12 rounds.
mm,
Supercars ultimately have the authority to say, no, you're going to race 13, 14, 15 rounds. But the teams are the ones
yeah.
that are saying to Supercars, to Shane Howard, we can budget for 12 rounds because when we get our $650,000 for our TRC, we can go, rightio, let's divide that by 12. And then we have our sponsors and then we go racing. And then with 12 rounds, we can all go to our school concerts and hang out with our families and be like normal people
Mm,
between race rounds, which I appreciate. I get that. The work-life balance, work-family life balance is important. But at the same time, they flip the coin and banner wave saying they're in the entertainment industry. This is an entertainment product. And that shits
hmm
me. When they say that, that insert bleep word absolutely drives me insane when they
Yeah.
say that we are in the entertainment business. Well, if you are, you're very poor at understanding what the entertainment business is.
hmm
Because if you have a movie showing that someone spent $1 billion making in Hollywood, they're not saying you can only see it 3 days a month.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
have it on every night. Whether the
Yeah.
cinema is full or not, they still give you the opportunity to see it. What we have here is somehow a manipulation of when Tony Cochran was running the sport, because he's an entertainment promoter. That's what he
Yeah.
does. He's the one that introduced that term. We're in the entertainment business 20 years ago.
hmm
What we have now is someone who is in charge, who has taken his words for the last 15 years
hmm
and hung their hat on his hook, but has not done any of the work that he
Mm.
did. So they're riding on the concept that we're an entertainment product. Yeah, you are. You're a car racing business. We want to
Yeah.
see car racing. So
Yeah.
reducing the amount of car racing you do because you're pandering to the teams in the commission.
Yeah.
If they don't want to race, let them go.
Mm. There's other teams
Stop
out there. There's
making it
other
so
people.
damn expensive to start with.
Well, there's other people out there that are wanting teams. So, if there's
The
people that don't want to do 15 rounds, then
the reason supercars is so expensive is because they're not making enough revenue. Why are they not making enough
yeah.
revenue? Because some guy in charge, insert non-swear word, diminished the sport when he was at the helm.
Yeah.
Took some cheap and easy Foxtel money
Yeah.
to prop up the coffers because the product they were offering at the time was perfectly operational and fine, and it was working. There were fans at the track. The fans were 5 deep at the fence.
Yeah.
Inherited it, had his own idea. Oh no, we're going to go to pay TV, and pissed off the majority of the Supercars fan base that didn't have Foxtel.
Yeah.
Now they can't see it on free-to-air TV. They can't see their supercars or the supercars racing on free-to-air.
I can't afford to go to the track either because it's $150 for a ticket for the day as well.
It
So,
has crept up. It has
yeah,
crept up a lot over that time. It used to be like 80,
yeah,
$90. Now it's $140 to go to the track,
yeah,
right? And that's just for me, solo, one person,
mm,
not
yeah,
myself and my partner and my kids. And if they're under,
yeah,
I think 16, it's all cool. Like they're cool if they're under 16, they're free. It might be 13 now. I don't know. I don't have children. But yeah, it's expensive day out for the product that you get back. What do you get back?
yeah. Not a lot. So, it's
So we're in a hole here.
and
We're in a legitimate hole. Supercars
and
is begging for money. So they're trying to extract more money from the broadcast rights.
hmm,
So it's Channel 7 do Warburton, ex Supercars CEO, does a side deal with Foxtel to farm off the street races, like the ones that are paid for by
hmm,
the state governments,
by the
not the
governments,
ones that
yeah,
are paid for by Supercars. And
yeah,
they will broadcast those rounds on Channel 7. They don't get the whole package, obviously, because Foxtel will still hold rights to all the earlier sessions and whatever.
yeah,
But they do a simulcast. So the fans at home, what does that mean? You get to see 5 rounds a year out of 12
yeah.
if you
And when
don't
it's
have
on free to
Foxtel
when
or
it's on
Payo.
free to air TV as well, you get to see 5 minutes of racing followed by 5 minutes of ads as well. So, and I
That's the
understand free to air
trade-off.
TV, you need
Unfortunately, that's
advertising, but
yeah, but you
yeah,
buy into that. That's the trade-off.
yeah, yeah. There's that's the problem, but you know, there is a lot of ads in the supercars and things like that, whereas they're put it
Channel 7 have
probably
to pay for them paying
they,
for it.
they do have to pay for it. I reckon there's other ways they could do it. Like if there's a safety car or something like that, you can play 7 or 8 minutes worth of ads while there's a safety car on or something like that. So,
Well, you can't do 8 minutes of ads because people will flick off and just get bored and bugger off.
oh no,
But who knows when there's a safety car?
hang on, let's pause here for a sec because my phone's about to die. Ugh.
Okay, so we had a minor technical hiccup here. We were in mid rant about the supercars versus fans and access. So
Yeah, well, track access, I believe, where it was. So the lack of access to the tracks, lack of everything. So,
oh no, we
well,
weren't actually on that rant yet. We hadn't even gone there. We were
one
still
one one.
busy talking about free to air access.
Oh, that's right. We were going on about that one, weren't we? So,
Mm.
but well, the other gripe I've got is the on track, or not on track, off track entertainment at supercars events these days as well. I remember going, back, you know, 20 years ago when Cochrane was leading the joint, there was plenty of entertainment. There was heaps of stuff to do off the track. They had race simulators. They had all those kinds of awesome things off the track. And
They still
I
do.
haven't been to many events recently, but do they have as much as
Yeah,
they
yeah,
used to?
yeah,
So
mate. Yeah,
yeah,
the sim boys are there every single circuit down Merch Alley, and they got like the kids area with all the entertainment for
I
the
know I
kids,
know
like little.
Bathurst, yeah,
Huh?
like Bathurst always. I know Bathurst always goes off, but yeah, and then
Oh,
you've got
you won't get simulators this weekend down at Symmons Plains, but you
no,
get them
no, no.
at
Take them over
Sandown.
there.
You know where you get them? You get them at the street circuits that have been built, paid for by the
Yeah.
state government.
Where were they at Sandown? Where they normally
Sandown?
have it Sand? Yeah. Last time I was at Sandown, I
Nah,
didn't see him there.
no, they weren't at Sandown. No, because it's
Yeah.
not a state government paid
Ah, is that why?
venue.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Darwin, definitely.
Yeah.
Darwin, I got those little recliner chairs underneath the Monster Energy platform. I was chilling in those things there. Put $2 in, chill out. You just got yourself a recliner chair legitimately on the edge of the circuit. That was cool as. Had
Nice.
laser tag going on off that there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Simulators and
That's what
stuff
they
are
need.
there.
Need to get more sort of things like that as well to get people
Townsville had
entertained.
them.
So
Yeah, it's a state great. Queensland, the boost round in
Goldie,
Goldie.
yeah, well,
That's just like there's
that's
so much going on up there. It's out of control.
that's just Mr. Marketing doing his thing up there.
Yeah,
So
I think so. Dude, you got guys on hoverboards just doing jets and stuff, just zooming around on jet skis and hoverboards and stuff. So yeah, that's not standard.
no. See, that's what every round should be like. That'll get people going. So,
Well, I don't
but
know.
they
I don't know. You don't go to racing to look at the attractions. You go to racing to
what?
watch cars. Like I'm happy to watch cars. I just want to have first of all, you can jag your $30 paddock pass.
Yeah,
Just abolish that.
yeah. Get rid of it. Just let everyone in.
Yeah. Like the way
So,
it used to be.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
That's it.
legit.
That was
Why you're charging $140 a ticket for GA to wander in for 3 days,
yeah.
and then you're gonna chuck another $30 on. Actually, I think that's
uh,
including the paddock pass. So I think it's 110 or whatever ish
yeah,
ballparking with $30 on top for your paddock
yeah.
pass.
For the paddock access. Yeah.
But there's no need for it. But
No.
the fact that they're begging for money now
Yeah.
is the honest reality.
Well,
Supercars are always begging for money and somebody
that's
else has to pay. Look at New Zealand next year.
yeah. Well, are they going to do that next year though?
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard
they're
they're
gonna tow.
talking about it.
They're gonna
They are
tow. Well, we call taupo, but it's actually topo.
Topi
The
or
the way
Topor.
it's actually
Yeah.
supposed to be correctly announced,
Yeah.
or pronounced. So Topor is the track that's not gonna. It's not going to be Hampton Downs. Tony Quinn's
Yeah.
talking that Topor is the one that's the most likely track for
I I
return.
reckon I reckon it's a better track than Hampton Downs for supercars. Anyway, Hampton Downs is more of a GT circuit, so
I
I
haven't been to
reckon
either. I don't know. I'm going to go as a fan.
well, I've never been to either of them either, but just looking at the track layouts, like you look at the layouts of the track, Hampton Downs is a much more flowing circuit. Whereas Topol is more of your, it's got a lot of tight twisty bends. It's more of a genuine little old school track circuit like your
Like
Wintons or
Baskerville
something like
down
that.
in
So
outside of Hobart.
yeah. So it's got, it's just they're just a nice little a nice little windy track circuit there. It's good. I reckon that's going to be way better for supercars than Hampton Downs.
I think it's more to do with access
Yeah.
to get people in and out and proximity to a reasonably large city where
Mm.
you can actually get accommodation and go and all of that. The supercars guys were shooting over there this weekend. Last weekend they went over there to check it out, and apparently it's been given the tick.
Nice.
So you got the three. Tony's got the three over there, right? It's got Hampton Downs, Highlands, and Topol.
Yeah. Well,
And
I'm all for them, 100%,
well, they got to get back on the
110% for
circuit, mate.
them
But they
going
only
back to
got
New
12
Zealand.
rounds a
So
year.
what's gonna go? Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like they pulled this
Yeah.
bullshit on us this year, saying that because of the extreme cost of Gen 3, which was double the cost that they were promised, because initially it was supposed to be $350,000 a car.
Yeah. What
That
is
was
it?
the initial
650.
estimate. Now I
Yeah.
understand estimates and like development, but as they kept developing and developing and developing and wanting more and more and more and better, the cost is now $750,000 a car
Yeah.
before you buy your spare parts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of went out the window 2 years ago, mid-COVID. We already knew these things were blowing out because they're already up to 450
100%. Well,
mid-COVID,
look,
500.
and in terms of getting them back here, the expense of the cars, all that 12 rounds. But in terms of going back to New Zealand, 100%. Let's do it. Add another round though. Like don't get rid of a round that
No,
we've
but
got here.
Ro, I
Yep.
think you missed my point. I hadn't quite finished it.
Yeah.
Supercars came out and claimed that the reason that doing 12 rounds this year is because of the initial cost
Oh
of
yeah.
buying the car. We want to reduce the cost, the operating cost of the team to actually operate it for the year, which means I still haven't found out how much it costs to go car racing per round. No one's prepared to say exactly how much they spend. Is it
Yeah,
40 grand? Is it 30 grand? Is it like 50 grand? Is it 10 grand? I have no idea. For
yeah,
airfares, accommodation, paying for the fuel for the transporter to drive, which is
yeah,
probably like 3 or 4 thousand bucks straight up just for the
yeah,
fuel. Not necessarily the Perth interstater, but like you shove it up and back to Sydney. Even Winton's 2.5 hours away, right? So
yeah.
what would a truck use? 2.5 hours up to Winton. Maybe what, 300 liters?
Gonna be a fair bit. Yeah,
Well, it's not thousands of liters. It's 2 or 300.
no,
So chuck it $2 a liter for diesel, just to keep it simple. Are we talking $1,000 or $800 in fuel for a transporter to get from Melbourne to Winton? I don't know.
no idea.
And then
Yeah,
there's the accommodation and all that stuff. So the cost of racing is
it's
is a
expensive.
is a black box. But it's a black
Yeah,
box that the teams won't declare. They claim it's expensive, which I agree. But that's isn't that
it's
isn't that
entertainment.
the more, yes, that you're in the entertainment industry, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So surely your sponsors will pay more if they have more exposure.
Yeah. I just think, when it comes to entertainment and things like that, traveling around, what about your bands, your big rock bands and stuff like that are traveling around the world, lugging their roadies with them, doing shows 2 or 3 nights a week for 100 days of the year. They're they're spending a ton of money to do that, but they're filling stadiums to make their money back. They're
Well, the
providing
promoters make the money
entertainment
and then the
there.
bands get paid a fee. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but and they're still doing it though, and they're lugging everything around, traveling around the world. They're doing all that because they're in entertainment. That's what they want to do. They want to entertain.
Are we being
So,
entertained, Rowan?
and not at the moment. I haven't had anything to entertain me with. So, you know,
I
and
thought Perth was pretty entertaining.
well, it was, but how long ago was that? That was a month ago. So,
Yeah, yeah, I know, I kind of forget.
yeah,
Um, were we entertained in Melbourne?
uh, a little bit, but not a lot. So there was some great snippets of racing, but they're way too short and it just wasn't enough. So once again, that was an exhibition round, albeit a points paying one for supercars at Melbourne. And what was the round before that? The first round of it is that
Newcastle.
that
Were we
Newcastle. There you
entertained
go.
in
For
Newcastle?
not really. Newcastle was pretty dull.
Oh,
So
there was a couple of moments there, like that Chaz Shane argument that they had, which was
oh
very
there
much
was
like the Brody Shane argument back in Perth.
there was a couple, but there just wasn't. There wasn't a lot. I came away from round one feeling pretty disappointed. It has lifted again since then. Like the racing in Perth with Brody and Shane was spectacular. There was a much better racing in Perth, but I've come away from the first couple of rounds feeling, eh, you know, haven't been going. This is fantastic. This is amazing. And then splitting them up and having 4 weeks between each rounds is, you're going from being not overly excited when the racing was on to begin with to then having a month between each round, and I'm always going to love supercars. Like, don't get me wrong. There's nothing that's going to stop me from loving supercars and being a massive fan. But at the moment, I'm not as entertained as I have been in the past.
So if they're in charge of an entertainment product and that's their coat hanger point, which is what they roll out every single opportunity they get when they get challenged with how good's the racing and they start hyping it up. We're an entertainment product. Well,
Hmm.
you don't need to manufacture entertainment, in my opinion. The racing should do that for you, which is why we have the new car, not because we need a better entertainment, because we didn't have a Holden being manufactured anymore. We needed to find a new bloody product, right? So we have our cars. As far as the parity goes, we're squared away. There'll be the odd minor little tweak. So I'm not even going to worry about rapping on about clickbait articles with parody, with engine mapping. Are we getting entertaining racing? I don't know. I don't know. Was Perth exciting? Yes, it was. Absolutely. I
Mm,
love that. Guess what happened? Everybody lost their mind. Black flags being thrown around, and there's a. I agree with Barry doing the protest. That was worth the $4,000 just to prove the point, for the
yeah,
question to be asked, to hold somebody to account.
yeah,
And he wasn't holding Shane to account. Trust me. He says he wanted to get Shane in there just to stand there and answer for what he was doing. But he
yeah,
actually really wasn't making a point about Shane. He was actually making a point about the judiciary.
yeah. And that's it. They say they want entertaining racing, then people provide us entertaining racing, and they tell them not to do it.
And then you and I spoke, we opened the show tonight talking about Trans-Am and how awesome that was and how all the
Yeah,
drivers loved it. And like even like Will and Shane had no sorry, Brody and Shane had no hard feelings about the end of that.
no,
They still say that that's the way they want to go racing.
yep,
Like
and
let
they
them
all do,
have at it,
all of them.
boys.
Yep,
If
they
you
need,
mess it up, and you pit maneuver someone, yeah, sure, you wear the consequences.
yep, and
Otherwise,
well, Tassie's another one of those tracks where they can get a little bit rubby and stuff like that. And there's a few passing opportunities down at Tassie, so hopefully we can see some
well, we're going to
excitement down
see
there
for
in
the
Tassie.
first
So
time. We're going to see for the first time in these new cars the king of the inside hairpin turn, leaning on, getting in, getting in on the
mm,
hairpin, and pushing and leaning on drivers out wide to get the move done.
yep, and I'm looking
We're gonna
forward to that.
watch this. We watched it last year. We watched the year before. We're gonna watch it again this year and just see how the other guys try to do the same move as they tried last year, and all they did was end up spinning blokes and getting penalties because they just weren't. They just didn't know exactly when and where to line up and push and when to stop pushing.
Just give the rub, yep. But no,
It's
I'm
finesse.
looking
It's
forward to it.
finesse.
So it is. It's definitely finesse. You've got to know when and where to do it. And if you mess it up, you're going to cop a penalty. You're going to stuff someone else's race. It's not nice, but we
Oh
want to
my
see
dude,
it.
I'm
We
just
want
talking
we want
about
to see
Van
the rubbing.
Gisbergen
I
getting
know
in
you
front of
are.
the
Yeah,
hairpin and pushing.
yeah. Oh, Gizzy's the
He never
absolute king
rolled
of it. So
anybody though. Like Cam tried it and Chaz, and they ended up just rolling dudes, like spinning them. They
yeah,
weren't up far enough before they could
no.
start to. They were at the C pillar, not the B pillar. You know,
But
you
that's
can't
that's
lean on
the
the car at the C pillar because all you're going to do is like turn him in front of your nose.
that's what separates Giz from the rest of the field at the
He
moment. Is
knows
he has
exactly
that
where he needs to be,
he,
just
he's
how far to
exactly, and
push the car.
it's only a few centimeters. It's only a few centimeters difference, but he just knows exactly where he can be when he gives him a little nudge or a little rub or a little shove, and he just knows how to do it. Nobody
And
else
BK
does.
ain't
So
going to put up with that rubbish either. He'll give it back.
no,
So
100% he
hopefully,
will.
like we're straight out the box, we're ready to go. Our boys are going to kill it. We're going to be fighting with Triple Eight this weekend. Tickford are still off the pace. DJR still in the weeds. God knows where they are. They're just like picking mushrooms. God knows what they're
Sad to
doing.
see, actually. Even as a Holden fan, you don't want to see that. So it's love seeing Dicky and his and the Shell boys up there up the front and fighting it out. But
I'm
they're
kind of, yeah. Look, yes, I just want to see good racing. I don't care what color the car is. I don't care if it's BRT or Jack Smith up the front fighting. Like, I honestly do not care who we're
no,
fighting with. I just want to see some good battles.
yeah. I just want to
You know
see
what
some
I mean?
solid passing, some solid
I want to
rubbing,
see
some
Perth.
some
I want to see
yeah,
Transams that we saw at Phillip Island this
yeah,
weekend, all
hundred
weekend
percent.
at Phillip at Tassie. I want to see
Yeah,
Trans Am style racing.
yeah. That'd be fantastic. So, look, we can only hope, but we've only got a few more days to wait now. I know it's been about a month again, but we've only got a few more days now before we actually get to see cars on track. So, when are you heading off? What day are you leaving? You're heading
Saturday
going
morning.
Saturday
I'm doing a
morning.
hit and
All right,
run in and out. So I'm
nice.
going to zoom in on Saturday morning and I fly out Monday morning because I couldn't get the secret flight. The secret, they always announce it late, which just annoys me. Because when I book my seats, I book them early, and that Sunday night flight out
Yeah,
doesn't get announced or booked until all the teams are committed to being on it,
yeah,
and then it goes public. So it's actually a sneaky flight.
yeah,
So all the teams get on it first, and once everybody else, supercars are sorted with all the people that need to be on it, then they open it to the public,
yeah.
and it appears on the website. But by then, I've already got, because I can't find it that early. I've already got my Monday morning flight. So
Nice.
yeah, in and out.
That should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice to have supercars back on track, and another double header weekend as well. We've got the supercars and the Formula One on this weekend as well. So not in America, so it won't be 4 a.m. races in the Formula One either, which is nice because I can actually watch them live. I'm not as big a fan as watching them on replay, so much rather watch the races live. So back in Europe at Imola, rain predicted for the Formula One, so it should be a good weekend of motorsport.
Now, guess who I
And
get to catch up with this weekend?
oh,
Our flaggy,
oh yeah, nice. Oh yeah,
Chris.
beauty.
Yeah, Chris
Yeah,
Shear.
nice. Get
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to have a
Get to
catch
catch
up.
up with
Yep.
Chris Shear and Ken and some of the other boys down there. But yeah, get to catch up with Chrissy down there. So Uh, if you haven't listened to the earlier podcast, I think it was EP2, EP3, one of those
I
two.
think so. Yeah.
Chris Shear gave us an absolute insight into the actual technicality of being a flag marshal. And I was there at PI this weekend with with Cozy Joe and her kids and all their boyfriends and support entourage. So I was playing tour guide most of the weekend. All the info that Chris gave us, you know how talking about the two flaggers looking over each shoulders and stuff that we never knew?
Yeah.
Like just the process of being a flaggy. Yeah, I was spiked. Like now I can't unsee it
Yeah.
because
Once once you once you know it.
I just thought these two flaggers were just talking to each other the entire time. Legit. They're just like hanging out, chilling out, there's nothing going on. And we're just having a conversation, having a chat.
Watching either way. Yeah.
But that's the way it appears to anybody who
Yeah.
doesn't know. They're
Yeah.
just two blokes just standing back, like face to face, just having a conversation and going, you're not even watching the racing.
They're gonna take you around and show you some more pubs that might be open after 8 o'clock at night on a Sunday down there, or
Oh, no, I think I've got that. I know where to go. I already
you know
know where to
you're
go.
sorted
I'm not
now.
going to go. 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock shut down. The pubs were shut at 9 o'clock on Sunday night. So
You're sorted.
yeah, I know where I ended up last time. That little brew house. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to make a beeline for that.
You're good to go. Good to go. Nice. Well, no, it'll be good to have the racing back on again, and I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully Brody and Will can add a few more trophies to that ever-growing Erebus cabinet. But
Hey, there's no reason not to.
well, there's definitely not. They've got the momentum. They've definitely got the speed. They've got the drivers and the cars to do it at the moment. So can't see any reason why they can't have another stellar weekend down in
I
Tassie. It'll
can't
be
see
good.
who's giving us a competition. Like who? I mean, Triple Eight straight up.
Yeah,
Brock's fast, and Shane's also fast. If he doesn't
yeah,
get penalised and just like screw up quali, because we've got that 3-part quali down here because the
yeah.
track's so short. So just to find space, Q1, Q2, Q3 knockout.
Look, if if
Um,
if Mozzie can find some race pace and the Tickford boys Courtney and Waters, then maybe they might. But other than that, I don't really see much else going on.
Apart from race one in Newcastle, where's Mozzie been? Because Courtney's got him.
Well, he's been consistently around the top five, but he just never gets himself onto the podium. So he's always hovering around that top five in the races, but he's just not getting himself up on the podium. So
Let's see if that top end engine mapping, like Twitch, that the Mustangs are going to get, might actually help them to be more. Because Tassie especially, it's basically 3 drag strips with a couple of corners linking them.
yeah, yeah,
So if you can't get from 130 to 250, 240 as quick as the other car,
you're
Even though
screwed.
you've all got out of the corner perfectly fine, and then you put your foot down, once you start plucking third, fourth, fifth, if the other car's going to get there, maybe, I don't know, 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second faster than you to get to the top speed, you're never
Yeah,
going to be competitive. You're not going to be able to be side by side.
no,
You're going to be just in behind them, like following. And then you have to hit heavy brakes, just to try to get under them with a late brake lunge and stuff. I
heavy,
think
heavy
that's what they're
breaks.
talking about when they're doing this Perth testing over there.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. No, I saw an article actually. I didn't read it, but I'll have to check it out about something. Scotty Pye mentioned something about potentially running into some brake fade issues that they might have been worried about with these cars as well down at Symmons Plains with that massive braking zone into the hairpin. So we'll see how that goes. We might see some entertaining racing if people are losing their brakes into the
Are
hairpin.
you
So
kidding? Are you kidding? You know what? When you hit turn 3, like the hairpin, I've turned 4
yeah,
at the hairpin, right? They've already come screaming down the main straight. They break into 1 and 2, which is like
yeah,
basically a kind of dog leggy thing, right?
yeah.
So lefty righty, and then you floor it again, and then it's heavy, heavy brakes
hmm
at the hairpin.
It's down to 50 k's an hour, isn't it? Something like
Yeah, it
that.
is.
So
Yeah, it
yeah,
is. Yeah, it is because you're turning a complete switchback, but
yeah,
you are not getting brake temp that hot that by the time we come around in, I think it's only a 50-second lap. By the time we come
yeah. It's
around
about
in a
that.
minute, that you're going to get brake fade. Like
Yeah,
Scotty Pie's going, we're going to get a long pedal because we're going to get brake fade because once a minute we go real heavy at the hairpin. The other part of the minute, you're flying. Like you got your
Sc-
right foot planted to the
Scotty,
firewall.
Scotty just making excuses for why he's not going to be in the up the front again.
Yeah. Says me who's never driven a supercar. So
Yeah, we can give them as much crap as we like, but they probably still got a lot more skill than any of us ever
how
would.
many how many decades have we been racing down at the hairpin? And how many
Oh,
decades
too
have we
many.
not had guys lose the car because of brake fade?
Yeah, see how they go. So
It's
I
never
don't think it'll
happened. Like
happen,
we
but
don't we don't have we
well,
don't have incidences of people. We have incidences of drivers who outbrake themselves because they try to be too greedy.
the only reason I think that article came about was once again we've had 4 weeks without racing and there hasn't been anything to talk about, so they had to find something to talk about, and
They
that was
found
it.
one
So
one statement and turn it into
yeah,
clickbait.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when we don't have any racing. So, but it's coming up.
We're
Three
talking
more
about
days,
nothing. All right,
4 more
so
days.
we're going to wrap this shit up because we've been jabbering too long. Welcome to a proper. This is actually Roman and I having a normal conversation, not on the podcast. So we don't care about the rest of the racing that we've been jabbering about because that was the cool part. This is the podcast part that you want. You just got an insight into our normal conversations, and that's the way it should be, and that's the way it's going to be. So we've got Supercars this weekend. We've got Speed Series at Winton in June on the long weekend.
Couple of weeks. Yeah, King's
What are we
birthday.
calling it now? Is it the King's birthday weekend or
It's
is it the Monarch's
yeah.
weekend?
I think it's the King's birthday.
It's just changed to the King's birthday. Yep. All
Yeah,
right. So we've got the Speed Series up there, which is going to go nuts because it's round 3 for them, and the Trans-Ams and the TCRs are legitimately fighting for some really big movements in the standings. So
yeah. It's
that's
going to be
that's that.
interesting.
Yep, that's that for that. And after that, I have I have a couple of conversations coming. I know I said that last week, but do you know how hard it is to nail people down for a chat? Like if it's not me being
People
too
are busy
busy,
these
it's them
days.
being too busy. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff. Now, Rowan, I didn't even tell you this. At PI, I guess we are wrapping up, people, but that's okay. But by the way, you need to know this. This is going to be cool because this is definitely a chat coming up. Do you remember the 6 hour?
I do.
Right. Do you remember how all the BMWs were winning all the stuff?
Everything.
Because that was the car to have. Do you remember there was a team put in that was only girls?
I do. I do.
So that was Alexandria West. It was Courtney
Courtney
Prince
Prince. Yeah.
and Carly Ann Bacchini.
Yeah.
As I was wandering back to the food van, because eating's cheating at PI, Carly Ann's mum pops up and goes, "Can I please have your autograph and a photo? Because everybody wants a photo with a hat." And I laughed. I laughed at her and I went, "You've just seen Graham's post. My mate put that up into the page because he's taking the piss." And so we had a chat. I didn't know who I was talking with at the time. So during our conversation, I met her husband, Paul. I find out that both of these two are still race like they're racing. They're a racing family. He's doing tarmac rallies. She does navigator for tarmac rally as well as driving on gravel rally for herself, dirt rally. And that
Nice.
their daughter's car, raced at the 6 hour with Courtney and Alexandria.
Yeah.
So I have their deets. This is going to be one of the most coolest chats ever because we have a full racing family that are just doing what everything like living their dream. They're living their
Nice.
dream.
Yeah.
So we got Paul, Claire, and Carly all driving. And they
Nice.
were the girls' team. And they're gonna I think I'll check with them when we do our chat, but I think they might be doing the girls' team again for the next year 6 hour.
Nice. Yeah. Beauty. Good to see.
Because they did get a bump up. They ended up second in class
Yeah.
because of the
Hopefully
penalty
they
that
get a
was
bit more
applied.
exposure next year as well if they
Well,
come back again.
well,
So
I'll let Claire explain that because we've
yeah.
already had this conversation, but I'll let Claire explain that to everybody because um I agree with everything that she said.
Yeah.
100% everything that she said in our little friendly chat.
Beauty.
So stick
Well, that's
around.
it.
I still got a whole bunch of chats to do. Once I can try and nail us both down at the same time. It's just mad how busy people are.
It's always the way it is. So that's all good. Well, yeah, we've got plenty to look forward to, including first and foremost the racing this weekend. Supercars, Symmons Plains. Check them out all this weekend on Foxtel. I don't think they're going to be on free to air this weekend. So if
I
you
don't
don't
think
have
so.
Foxtel
No,
or
no.
KO, you'll miss out.
Foxtel
But
KO. Yep.
yeah, check it out. It's gonna be good racing. Go Bush, go Swill.
Yeah.
Let's bring it on.
The boys, let's get up there. Let's keep this lead.
100%. Damn straight. But I reckon that'll do us for tonight, Dave. I
Yeah,
reckon
we're
that's
done, mate. We're done. We
we
talked too
we
long.
we
We got
we've done a
sidetracked
while.
again and we just
We did.
finished.
Shit happens.
Yeah. I don't care, man. But I don't care if we get sidetracked. I mean,
Nah,
yeah,
it's
we're
fun.
not journos. We don't have to tell you what happened, but we will tell you what happened. But your opinion, my opinion about stuff, let
That's
us
it.
know.
Let's go for it. Tell us what
Do
you
you
think.
agree with us?
That's it. Give us your thoughts on socials as well. Facey, Instagram, YouTube. It's all there. So check us out. Chat with the Hatch, and suppose we better say a thanks to the sponsors as well, Dave. We didn't do that
Absolutely.
at the start
Mr.
of the show.
Jason
So
Sweeney, thank you very much for Game Life, gamelife.com. You know, everybody knows he's the guy that made it all happen for me by pushing me hard, and he's given us all our stuff. So gamelife.com.au for all of your streaming and
social
broadcasting
media
needs and
needs, I
gaming
guess.
needs, all the peripherals and stuff. And tonight, we're actually going to be playing out the outro with one of the tracks from Tony Heffernan from Musos on the Chase.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he
There we go.
sent me through a few tracks. So I'm going to just run the show out with a bit of what you can expect up at Bathurst with Musos on the Chase if you roll in on a Thursday and Friday.
Fantastic. All right. Looking forward to it. Well, thanks for time again, Dave. It's awesome as always.
All
And
good, bud.
we shall see you guys next week because we will have to recap Symmons Plains. So
There's
see
going to be some carnage. We just know there's going to be some crazy.
Oh, there is. So I'm looking
Bring it
forward to
on.
it. We'll talk all about it next week. But until then, see you later. Peace out.
Cheers, mate.